are you familiar with the picture? Does it remind you something from your real life? Potentially. Let me be transparent at the very beginning. This is actually a product session. So, we are somehow dressed like the product. Does anybody knows how the product is actually called? Or could be called? Cat. Thank you very much. These pencils are for you, that you actually were, it wasn't you, was it him? Sorry, I overheard. Thank you. Thank you. So this is actually what it is all about, the cat. If I push it forward, I am here, Tomáš Tuček and Peter. We've been to the world of data engineering for many, many years, and this cat is kind of product on top of our experience with the building of data warehousing or data stuff, data solution, etc. So we are kind of credible, and actually the quality is something we all should care about. Why? Because $billions of dollars is all over the planet wasted. Because, and one of the reasons is, that our users actually use wrong or incomplete data, and they don't know. Nobody knows. Should I be here? Okay. So I need to be here. Okay, no problem. I was having just waving. I don't know what it means. So actually, nobody knows. Nobody knows. The real example is that there is a rich Czech bank, some guy from management walking all over the bank, that he's missing some colleagues on some reports, and later they found out that actually for 3 days they were not populating any new data into their data warehouse, and nobody knew. What happened actually in the meanwhile? Nobody knows. $Billions of dollars is also wasted because barely 20% of the all data solutions which are developed all over the planet actually reach the production, or actually really become something we can take value out of it, because nobody trusts the data. Because again, we develop something, we push it through the UAT or acceptance testing, and again, we don't get any feedback. We don't know whether it's really comparable or actually valid, or even better than the former solution actually we had in place. So data matters, but we need to have the trust. So how to reach it? How to reach it, or why we cannot actually reach it? What are the obstacles? So the common word which actually encapsulates everything is complexity, usually. How to test it? Okay, that's nice. How to test it? Where to start? What should we do? So the problem in the complexity is time. Do we have a time? Okay, should we have put some resources into the testing? So do we have people who would like to do that? Do we have a practices where we should start actually? What is the right practice to start with the data testing? And what is the tool actually I can easily start with? So people, time, resources, practices, everything is kind of missing or is not available that much. So again, so I could easily and quickly start it today and not in months or weeks. So what we try to target is to make this as simple as possible. So you can start with the data testing in a minute. And Peter will show you in another 10 minutes how you can become a data tester in the 10 minutes.
Okay, let me switch to our demo. So let's imagine I'm a junior data engineer who was tasked to create simple date dimension, like usual things like year, name of month, name of day. Everybody probably did it at least once. So when I'm a developer and I finished my job, so I need to check it. Like, does it work? Did it do what I expected it to do? So I will run many checks. I have example for one. This date dimension should start somewhere at some date, and it should end at some date. So it's a decision you need to make. It may be based on some data in some staging table, or start maybe for example when the company started producing some data. End of the dimension is usually end of next year because of budgets or something. But I always can express these expectations in simple SQL statements. So I can, for example, say that, okay, I expect the dimension should start at 1st of January 2023, and it should end at the end of next year. This is my expectation. And then I compare it with reality. Like, this is my data dimension that I just developed. I have some process that fills it with the data. And I can run both the queries, compare my expectation, sorry, make it bigger. Compare my expectation with the actual result there. So for this, I can use my eyes because it's easy. I have two data sets. I can compare them. Look left, look right. Is it okay? Is it the same? Isn't it the same? So it's okay. So I can use eyes. But there are two problems here. First, my expectation is not met because you see that the end of the dimension is 2024. My expectation was 2025. So I need to adjust the process that fills the data, and then I will need to repeat the test, run it again. So I have to save it somewhere, find it then, and run it again. Second problem, when the solution hits the production, it sometimes happens that it hits the production actually and people use it. So after 2 years, operations will have no idea whether there is some process that fills the data and refreshes the data in the dimension. So these are reasons for automating the test. So when I have it automated, I can repeat it anytime, I can run it, and I can see that it works and it meets my expectation. And for this, we developed a product that we call CAT. Installation of the product is one simple line, install module CAT, because it's in PowerShell gallery, in official Microsoft store for PowerShell modules. I don't have to install it because I already have it. But the installation is about 15 seconds, like it downloads 30 megabytes of data and you have it. Then I only need to import the module. I need to put the queries I already have into very simple configuration file that looks like this. I define data source, give it some friendly name, DWH for example. I say it's SQL Server. I put some connection string, and then I only create the test like dim dates has correct dates, and I just grab the queries I already have, because when I finish some job, I always run some queries to check whether it works or not. So I only reuse them, put them here, give them some name, put expectation that it should return exactly the same values, and then I can run it with one single command: invoke get project. And it should fail because my expectation is not met. So I should see error message that with those different years, 2024, 2025, which is here. And once I fix it, I fix my code, then I will simply run it again because my test is automated, and I will immediately see that the problem is fixed. And the same for operations. Like if you run it daily, this check, then the operations will immediately know that something is wrong. Some process didn't run that should refresh the data in some table, and that's it. So this is a very simple example. Let me show you one more complex, because not everything is that easy. Let's imagine I have some IRO database with some data about planes, departures, stuff like that. Let's say my source system, I have source system, I have DWH, and I have some data in Power BI workspaces. And I have different systems, like I have Postgres as a source, SQL Server as DWH, and I have Power BI semantic model in Power BI workspace. And I need to compare these, like I have an incremental refresh. I load, for example, data about departures of planes, and I need to verify that my incremental load works. And for example, again, for operations, like if the process fails on Sunday and nobody noticed, nobody would know that I'm missing some data. So I need to simply verify, like I have everything the same throughout the systems. So let me open the other. This one. So here I need to define 3 data sources because I have 3. It is here. So again, this SQL Server, I already showed this one. Then I have Postgres as a source. Again, some connection string, friendly name. And I have a connection also to Power BI semantic model. This is connection for Power BI workspace with service principal, secret, so that it can be automated. And the tests are actually very easy. I have 2 tests, one that compares the Postgres database against DWH, and I group data for each date and count rows and run it against Postgres, this statement, and compare it with the same for DWH, for example. So if incremental load is either wrong or didn't run, then I would see a simple error message that I'm missing some data. And the same is for SQL Server against Power BI, but on Power BI side, I need to use DAX because Power BI doesn't understand SQL statements, but still it's very simple DAX that, again, groups the number of rows based on dates of flights, and that system compares this for me. So again, I import module cat, invoke get project, and it will compare, it will evaluate both these tests for me. Now it takes a bit longer because it's the tens of thousands of data already in this example. But now I'm sure that I have all the data, all the same data in Postgres, in DWH, and in Power BI Workspace. We usually also wire these tests into Azure DevOps pipelines, or we support more systems, not only Azure DevOps. And if some check fails, I can simply go to test step in Azure DevOps and see the details of the failed test. So what I was checking, the row that broke the rule, and I can even grab the SQL statement that I used for defining the check, yeah, and go, for example, to Management Studio and troubleshoot. Because I didn't expect something, it happened. Some row broke the rule, and I can investigate very simply why is that and what to do next.
That was it. That was all you need to know to test data. The tool is actually capable to do it. This slide is just, how to say, summarizing what we cannot show you here in 20 minutes, but still the tool is actually capable to do. So actually you can connect to any data source actually which is available on the market today, including Fabric and all the fancy stuff, but also Excel and CSV. When Excel and CSV are actually pretty cool formats, especially for business people. So actually you can integrate also the business people into enrichment of your data tests. You can generate the test from metadata. This we can show you on our boot, so you can actually template the test. So you don't have to write them really manually, but you can just source some data like set of all columns or of all departments or gates, etc., and it actually multiplies the test automatically based on the metadata. We can also load the test not only from YAML. So what we've shown here is YAML. Not everybody is, again, familiar with YAML. Somebody wants to specify the test, including the selects, surprisingly in Excel, for instance, which is not super recommended practice, but sometimes you are under pressure of business to do it. So actually you can produce or provide the test definitions to the tool from Excel, from database, from stored procedures. So again, you can multiply or the effect of generation and actually productivity. Like Peter has shown, actually, that you can import the results into the Azure DevOps. You can still export it also to the Excel and even store it in the databases like SQL or Oracle. So then you can report on top of that easily later. So you can imagine that it's much better to do a report on top of table in SQL Server than on, for instance, XML. And some parallelization and more. Again, we do not have time to here to show you more. Could you maybe, Peter?
Yeah, sure.
We have also added, actually, because this is all for data geeks, so actually you see you can write from command line, means that easily integratable to your pipelines. We have also a Cat Studio, which is a user interface. We just pushed to Microsoft Store, which was a big deal, but it's there already, and it's in a community preview, so it's brand new. It's 1 week old, actually, application Cat Studio. Yep. And when it's actually applicable. So there are like 5 major scenarios. The first is really data quality. You see that you can write a query. So the query can check, are there customers in one source and are also actually the same customers in the another stage on a model and so on. Are the amounts the same? You know, so you don't have to compare the data itself, but you can group them or check somehow. This is the data quality thing. But second is the data architecture. You can also write a select. Are there all the technical columns in every table which they are actually expected to be there or not? Are the names of the tables following some patterns or names of the stored procedures, etc. So you can check also the data architecture thing, mean your team. Data access thing. I don't know, we've been to a big project where actually we have like security metrics of what somebody should see and what somebody should not see. It was an Excel with 30 columns and like hundreds lines, which you can never test manually. I mean, like looking into the cube and do I see only these dimensions and this data or these departments? This is manually absolutely not testable. So this is also like a security kind of thing. You can actually use this multiplication factor of the tool. Data migration is nicely used when actually you need to compare two systems, old systems and new system. Thanks. Which means that, which is also very often the scenario. So usually you do it manually. Usually you ask business people to come every Friday after a business hour, so means 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. to test, let them test whether the system you just deployed is actually providing the same data like they do have in production today. And they really love it. I would say all of them, and they are providing very, how to say, good feedback usually by Friday midnight. So this is actually easily automatable. And data consistency is that like reconciliation. So you can also use it in a production because it's easy spot check, it's easy select. So actually you can say, okay, is the data in SAP, which is our finance systems, the same like in our data warehouse and later visible on a Power BI? Are they actually matching to each other? It's very simple to actually design it, and you can apply or run the pipeline also on top of a productive system naturally without actually causing a harm to the system unless you made a very complicated query running for hours. So this is it. Where to start? I don't know if it was really clear, but actually the cat is PowerShell module, so it's easily available to you. You can just write the command instant module and you really have it in a couple minutes. If PowerShell would be too much, for instance, for you, so it's also wrapped into the Windows command kind of tool or add-in, so you can get it via Winget, and Cat Studio I already mentioned. The best place to start is actually Docs, just get it. There is nice documentation. And you will see immediately whether it's actually applicable, the tool, in your context in 10 minutes. I would say not more. And definitely, if you would like to see more, because we are reaching end of the 20-minute session, we have still booth with the cat on top. So please come and we can show you or answer all your questions. We met a lot of you guys already, so thanks for coming on top of what you have seen on the booth also to the session. Hopefully we gave you some answers, and you can provide us a feedback. I was told that if you provide a feedback, actually you donate some money to charity as well. So please do it, not because of us, but because of being nice. And I have one question to you, not before I let you ask question, because we have some time. Peter was pretty fast, thank you. One question. The first person who says, you are out of game, guys, who says how our actually UI, the Microsoft Store application is called, will win this t-shirt. Who was it? Cat Studio, amazing. Actually, this is the only t-shirt we are spreading all over the conference. Nobody else from the 5,000 or how many people was here got the t-shirt. So you are the only person. So you are welcome. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you. And thank speaker and organizers. And if we have some time for a question, potentially we may have two questions. Couple minutes.
Okay.
Is it free to try? I need to repeat the question. So is it free to try? So actually, is it free to try? The license is that you can use it for free endlessly until you really run it manually. So as soon as you push it to automation, like to a pipeline in Azure DevOps, then it should be licensed. So until then, if you have 40 people like clicking and using and just playing with that, it's completely for free.
So it's not only easy to try, but also if it's free to use, even for production. Yeah, but you have to invoke it. Like some person have to invoke it. Otherwise, if it's scheduled, license is needed.
Actually, the bad thing on that you cannot never complain you cannot test your data, or you're unable to test your data, or it's too complicated or complex. No price tag, no time. You just need to know how is the command. Install module cat. That's all you need to know. And that it's pink, actually. That's also good to know. Thanks. 1 minute. So guys, if you do not have any other question, please come to our booth. If you'd like to see more, Peter will be able to answer any question you can have. Thanks a lot for coming, and have a nice day and the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you.